TV. The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of At the Heart of Business, a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. I'm your host, Judith Tate, and I'd like to welcome my first guest today, Jennifer Lindsay. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thanks, Judy.
So you have this wonderful business called We Want to Create. Yeah. So tell us all about We Want to Create.
So We Want to Create, I kind of wanted to come up with a name that would kind of involve everyone in the process. So, coming together and sharing different ideas to create different items, designs, and just bringing people's creativity to life and just bringing it to reality. And so I just started this business, and it's been, it's kind of like a hobby business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you create things like mugs and travel mugs,
yep.
Sweaters.
Yep, I do sweaters, T-shirts, travel mugs, coffee mugs, pretty much anything that you can add any designs or any ideas that you have, yeah. or even for personalization, stickers, anything.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. Like, I was eyeing that sweater earlier today.
Thank you.
So how did you get into this? Like, what's your why for doing it?
So I was actually involved in a really bad motor vehicle accident years ago. Mm-hmm. And so, that left me with a lot of limitations and being unable to return back to work. I kind of wanted to, find something that interests me, something that I could start doing from home, mm-hmm. that would allow me the flexibility, but then also still give me time to recover from my accident. And so I really wanted to, just come up with something that was creative, and something that I could, kind of find the time in between parenting and so I started coming up with different ideas at home. I started YouTubing, and it was actually my husband and kids were actually my first customers. Okay. And so I started designing and creating T-shirts, whether it was back to school, birthdays, and I loved the idea of personalizing it and adding their name and their ages to the T-shirts. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about the creative process, because you mentioned that, you're a mom and you're doing this as, something that you can do kind of like for your family.
Yeah.
And they were your first customers. So is this something that, if anyone who's creative, or even if they lack creativity, is this something that someone can easily get into?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different design spaces that you can access, and I subscribe to quite a few of them. But usually, I have customers, and I don't even think they think that they're this creative, but once they have something in mind and they start sharing their ideas, then we kind of collaborate together, and it forms like such a great design for whether it's their T-shirt or their water bottle. And so normally what people will do is they'll send me their ideas, and they'll send me images that they might want to use, maybe wording, and it's really detailed. So, finding out colors that they want to use, or the font sizes that they want to use, and once they're able to send me their ideas, and I kind of bounce my ideas off of theirs, and then it kind of all comes together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very collaborative?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
So then that speaks to the customization behind it.
Yeah.
So is there demand for customized products?
Yeah, I find that there is a high demand for it. A lot of customers, like I've had customers approach me about doing birthday parties or, like baby showers. And I've had a customer come up and ask me about personalized stickers for their birthday party, maybe for loot bags. And so I had like a Moana themed birthday party that I needed to do. So usually what I do is I go online, I try to find like different fonts that match the theme that they're looking for.
Okay.
And then we'll go back and forth about colors, what their color theme is for their parties. And then I'll put that together, and usually I'll send them like a snapshot of what that looks like. And then they'll later approve it, tell me if they don't like it or if they want a different font. And so that's kind of the process behind it.
Okay. And what
Yeah.
was that theme that you said it was?
It was Moana.
Moana.
Yeah, I actually have a water bottle on the
okay.
display here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's great. Okay, so whenever, because of course, when you're creative, you have to be in that creative space.
Yeah.
How do you work through that when you're going through, like, if you're going through any type of challenges?
You know what? I've definitely have had a lot of learning curves along the way.
Yeah.
And there's always challenges. I mean, like, there's times when I'm designing something and I'll make a mistake, or, it's not the right picture or color. And so sometimes that can be challenging in itself. But I enjoy doing the research and just finding out, and even watching other creators online, and just watching, their learning curves and what they've done to kind of go back and correct their mistakes, or just taking a look at, just looking at where their creative mind is at. And I'm really passionate about doing it. Like, it's fun. I enjoy doing it, and so I don't mind all the learning curves and all the mistakes, and just like getting feedback from other businesses who have also started the same customizing or personalizing.
Okay, so do you collaborate with other businesses?
Yeah, I've definitely grown a relationship with different businesses who do similar stuff, and it's helpful because they give me their feedback, and they've been very open to giving feedback, and just giving different ideas and bouncing different ideas off of them, and it's great. Like, it's good when you can kind of build a support system around you, and I find that they have definitely been my supports, as well as all my YouTubers out there who are doing the same thing. They're amazing, and I've learned so much from them. Yeah.
So do you have a YouTube channel as well?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Maybe someday, but not right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does this take specialized equipment to create all this?
Well, I use a Cricut machine to do vinyl cutting, and like cutting out different designs, and a heat press. Those were and printers. So those were like my main equipments. And when it comes to the printers, like, there's just so many different materials that you can use when designing t-shirts. And so sublimation was a big one for me. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically infusing ink into your material. And so that was a learning curve, because there's some material that you can use that on and some not. So it's just a matter of going through like different processes and finding what really works for you. Yeah.
And are you mostly self-taught, like between just practicing
I am.
and YouTube?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes it can be, sometimes I doubt myself because, there's a lot of customers that will come to me and ask me to, like, edit a photo, and I'm like, well, I haven't gone to school necessarily for graphics or anything like that, but, I've learned so much off of YouTube, like just really self-taught. Like, I've enjoyed watching their videos and just learning off of them and putting it into practice. And so I just practiced a lot and just got a handle of it. And I guess once you've been doing it for a while, then you kind of get a handle of it, and you kind of get a handle of like what works for you, what doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that you mentioned self-doubt. Because even though you doubt yourself, which is okay, you don't let it stop you, and you work through that.
Definitely, yeah.
And do you find that a challenge to work through sometimes?
Sometimes. It can be discouraging at times, but like I said, I enjoy it. I enjoy even looking online just to find like other people's challenges that they've had, or looking back at, people who have started the business and wish they knew certain things before they went into it. And so I like watching those videos because then that kind of helps me. Okay, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do something different, you know, and it works. Yeah.
So in what other ways have you been resourceful? Because like you mentioned YouTube, which is a great resource. What other ways have you been resourceful?
You know what? I have actually been attending a lot of vendors markets and just kind of like getting out there. And it's been really good interacting and meeting new people who are also doing similar things, and just like getting ideas and just talking about their experience and their challenges through what they've been going through. So it's been really helpful that way, just reaching out and just bouncing ideas off of friends, family. My husband has been a really big supporter of mine, and so he'll get me making designs for him and my kids. So, you know, I think like just accessing as many like-minded individuals who are doing the same thing, that's also really helpful.
Okay, that's excellent. And you mentioned, you know, talking with other people and bouncing ideas. Why is that so important in business?
You know what? It's just being able to even accept like different feedbacks from others, because everyone goes through their own experience, and so I think it's really important just to share those ideas and explore different creative minds. You know,
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. What's your most favorite item to create?
Gosh, I have so many, and every day I'm coming up with like different things to make. But I really love creating T-shirts and sweatshirts.
Okay.
I really love that. I love just finding different designers. There's so many creatives out there, and I love just taking their artwork and just making it my own. Sometimes I'll change things around, or I'll use it and just apply it to like a T-shirt or a sweater, and I love how it comes out. Like it makes me so happy when it comes out perfect.
Oh, good.
And it looks good. Water bottles and tumblers I love doing as well. I just like the vibrant colors. And people love them, and they love personalizing it and adding their name to it.
Okay. What would you say is your most in-demand product?
Right now, I would say the sweatshirts. I think because of wintertime, everyone's in sweatshirts, and they love the designs. And then I have people who see some of the designs and they want to kind of switch up different colors. So even if I don't have a color on display, they'll request a certain color, or they'll request like even designs that I have maybe on like a mug or a tumbler. They want that on a sweatshirt or a T-shirt. So it's nice that I can kind of customize it and mix it up for them a bit. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. This was just a lovely conversation, and I love your work. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and stay tuned. We'll be up with Kim Keller next.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Saturdays, it's hockey like you've never seen before. Welcome to the NHL Hockeyverse. It's the place where real data of NHL action is transformed, literally, into animations. Combining NHL Edge puck and player tracking data with animations to show hockey like never before.
Let's go inside the helmet.
That's right. This is no video game. The NHL Hockeyverse Matchup of the Week, Saturdays at noon on Sportsnet.
This is Rogers TV.
Hello, welcome back to At the Heart of Business, a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. I'm your host, Judith Tate, and I'd like to welcome my next guest, Kim Keller of Team Keller, Kim Keller Real Estate, Keller Williams.
Yes, I'm Kim Keller of Keller Williams, and I just started a team called Team Keller within that. It's a female-only group of real estate agents.
Excellent. So, tell us just a bit more about your team.
About why I started. Well, the thing is I'm in my late 40s now, and I think with age comes wisdom.
Yeah.
And along with that wisdom comes a list of priorities as well as some boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And at this stage in my life, I'm starting to care a lot more about caring a lot less, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like I love my clients, and I value all the advice I've been given by all these agents that have been in the industry forever. Yeah. It does mean a lot to me, but there comes a time where you got to start, stop trying to chase traditional success and, kind of make your own success based on what's important to you. Mm-hmm. So I created this team based on the lifestyle that I wanted.
Yeah.
That sounds selfish, but
no, that's not selfish at all.
Thank you.
It sounds like you're after more of a balanced
work-life balance thing.
So
exactly.
Talk about that. What does that mean to you?
So, as you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I was a former entrepreneur for like 14 years now. And my journey to entrepreneurship was crazy because I worked in marketing for about 20 years. I loved it, never wanted to leave it, thought I'd die at a desk in advertising. But I had a child, and having a child literally changed everything for me. It changed the entire course of my life. Like, I quickly realized after the 12-month mat leave was up that I knew I couldn't leave her. There was no way I was going to leave my daughter. I know, it's crazy, but I literally came home and yelled to my husband, I retired. I retired in my 30s. Who does that? Especially when you've got a new baby and you're starting a family. I just retired, and we needed 2 income to survive, so had to figure out something else. So long story short, I ended up starting a business in my basement, and then fast forward, I ended up, occupying 3 units in the busiest plaza in our town. So it's something that I'm very, very, very proud of. We were doing great, and then COVID hit. And as all phase 3 brick and mortar business owners will tell you, it's still a very sensitive topic for us because many of us didn't survive it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Fortunately, my business did, but while we were going through this, we're drowning in debt. I'm still responsible for paying my rent, but I wasn't collecting any revenue. I was locked out of my very own business for more than a year. Oh. So I needed to come up with a plan B. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? So real estate is what I decided to do. And I hate to admit that they say everything happens for a reason, but COVID might have been a blessing in disguise for me. I never thought I'd say those words, but it took me on the path of real estate, and I truly believe real estate is where I'm meant to be. Yeah. I do.
And it's funny that you should say, COVID was a blessing in disguise, because I think it was for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Many
heartbreaking for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But again, for me, I had to make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah.
And it ultimately ended up being a blessing for me.
Yeah. And a lot of people had to, they lost their jobs or they just started a business.
They lost everything.
So you mentioned challenges. What kind of challenges did you face during that time?
Well,
and how did you work through it?
Again, I'm going to base this on my present situation in real estate and the challenges I've incurred since I started, because a lot of agents and school don't prepare you for how expensive it is to be a real estate agent. You have to do at least 1 transaction a year just to have the money to pay to keep your fees to the real estate board and that to keep your license. Yeah. And if you're going to list a house for sale, you need to have a padded bank account, because you're going to be out $10,000 to market a home for sale. And you don't get paid, and sometimes 60, 90, 120 days later, once the house closes. So you've got to have a lot of money in your bank account ready to tap into when you have these listings. And it's kind of like a vicious cycle, because to have, when you become successful and you have multiple listings, it's very expensive, but you'll never be successful. You don't just jump into a lot of listings. You need to establish yourself first. Yeah. But in order to establish yourself, you need to be prepared to work hard, but you have bills to pay, so you can't really quit a job. Like you need to kind of keep another job so you can pay bills. Like everyone's got a mortgage and food, to put on the table for their families and stuff. Yeah. So you can't be successful in real estate unless you're giving yourself completely to real estate, but you can't give yourself completely to real estate until you're successful and making money. So I found it was like a vicious circle. So this is ultimately why I started a real estate team. I wanted to help other people. I wanted other ladies specifically to, I wanted to help them out where I could, because no one prepares you for how expensive it is and how hard it is to be a real estate agent.
Yeah. So you mentioned that as a real estate agent, you have to establish yourself.
Yes.
So for someone who's getting into real estate, what is the best way to establish themselves? Because as you said, it's kind of like that chicken and the egg effect.
That's
right?
100%. But unfortunately, you have to have a presence on social media. Like you have to be present. You have to network. People need to know who you are.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just aren't comfortable doing that, I have found. And, another reason with the team, I want to help these girls build their self-esteem, build their confidence. Like you need to empower them to go out and do that, because you're never going to be successful in real estate if you're not putting yourself out there. You need to market yourself. You need to be present.
Yes, I agree. And that's pretty much with any business.
Absolutely.
You have to put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
What do you think is the fear behind putting yourself out there that many women face?
I have no idea. I think it's lack of self-confidence, which makes me sad, because women need to be empowered by other women, and women need to see what, all that they bring to the table, and they need to show up and be themselves. And I don't want to be arrogant, but I'm really good at that. Like along with with my gym business, that's what I did. I made women see their potential, and I have a way of getting that out of girls. And that's what I'm doing with my team right now, arming them with the information, and I'm, giving them the power and the strength, and I'm helping them build their own self-confidence so they can one day, get up and leave and maybe build their own team, one day. Who knows?
Yeah, I love that. I think the best way to scale a business is to, aside from like systems and processes,
Yes.
which is my thing, having a team.
Yeah.
So explain to our audience, why is a team so beneficial?
For me, it's a twofold, because again, it's so beneficial for our clients. Like our clients have access now to any one of us at any given time. So if one of us isn't present, the other one can be there. But for me, again, going back to my list of boundaries and the priorities right now, I'm not willing. I came from a 24/7 business. Like my gym was literally open 24/7. And I knew when I was leaving that I wasn't willing to sacrifice, raising my children, or my mental health, my physical health. Like these are the boundaries I've set for myself. And this team allows us to all be present in our everyday lives. Like if you have your son has a hockey game, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to cover for you so you can go watch your hockey game. You want to have date night with your partner or your spouse, one of us will jump in that. So it really is like a work-life balance atmosphere, but it also is it's amazing client service for our clients, because as I said, one of us will always be available for you.
That's great.
Without us having to be available 24/7.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go back to, because you mentioned the gym.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about that, because that's what you were talking about with, the challenges with COVID. So let's revisit that part about your gym.
Well, revisit what? Like we were locked out of our own business for over a year. It was like close to a year and a half. And at that point, literally, we weren't allowed to have any members in. I wasn't charging any of them their membership fees, but we were still on the hook for rent. So it was a very challenging time. But you have to make the best of a bad situation. Like we couldn't just sit and sink. We had to be present and positive for our children. Like our kids were online learning. And so my husband and I, both of us went back to school.
Yeah.
We both went back to school. Like I went back to college in my 40s, during
That's awesome.
COVID, as a means to have to reinvent myself potentially. Like we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if we were going to go bankrupt. We had no idea. So it was a very scary and trying time, but I do ultimately think it made us stronger for it, having surviving it.
Absolutely. No, that's great. That was a challenging time, and I can imagine the fear,
the unknown,
and frustration,
not knowing.
through that.
It was a very challenging time.
So what would you say is your greatest business insight that you would like to share with the audience?
Well, it's, again, I am new to real estate, absolutely. And I'm the first one to admit, like, I have a lot to learn. I've got a lot of growth, you know, like, if you stop learning, it's the kiss of death. Like, so I'm very present. I want to do that. But I'm not new to business. As I said, I've got a lot of experience in the corporate world, and I've just come from running my own business. But I'm walking into real estate, and I'm seeing a lot of things that I would do differently. And I don't know if it's just because, you know, it's my business background or if it's because it's never been done before, which, by the way, that phrase drives me crazy. Like, it's never been done that way before. Like, we're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to learn and get with the times. What worked 20 years ago doesn't work anymore. And that's okay. Like, we need to embrace that. We need to evolve. And I mean, everything like 20 years ago, my God, like social media was a thing. And now, like, I'm trying to get my feet wet with social media, and now AI's come into play. Like, it's forever changing the scope of every industry. And I think we need to be willing to get on board and embrace technology and embrace that with the changing times.
Yes, I agree. And AI, that is
Terrifying.
Do you find it terrifying?
I find it terrifying.
Oh, okay.
Well, I find it's brilliant and it's terrifying because I do see a lot of value in it, but I do see a lot of job loss as a result. I do think there's going to be a lot of industries are going to go under as a result of that when we can have a computer that does the job for you. It's scary. And again, like, if we allow these computers to get smarter than us, we're in a bit of a pickle.
Do you feel it's important for any business to learn it and learn how to work with it? Because I think it's here to stay.
It's not going anywhere. And I absolutely think everyone, not even just people in business, I think everyone needs to get their feet wet with it. Just be more aware of what it is and its boundaries, you know, because it can be very scary. You can't just pretend it's not happening because it's not going away.
Yeah. Has AI been, has it presented any challenges for you in real
so
estate?
far in real estate, it's been a tool that we're all going to be able to leverage.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. What other strategies would you like to share? Something that's really helped you grow your business. Like you mentioned that you have a team.
Yeah.
What other strategies do you use in your business?
I'm not sure if I'm going to call this a strategy, but what I'm looking at, like with growth on my team, you have to, like, right now more than ever, we have to acknowledge privilege. Like, and so I'm seeing, and I'm the first to admit that I'm privileged too. You know, anyone with a roof over their head, healthy family, you know, like, we're all very privileged, but I'm only sitting where I am today because I had parents who literally encouraged me to, you know, shoot for the stars, do whatever it is you want. And I knew I could bet on myself because if I failed, I had the safety net of my mom and dad to help me. And that, even now with my marriage, like, I retired in my 30s, but I had the safety net of my husband and his support and encouragement so that, you know, I knew I had safety. So I've launched a pilot program where I'm paying for the college education. So I've currently got one girl who's enrolled in the Humber College course, and I'm paying for her to go to college because I want to remove the obstacles and present as much opportunities for women. You know what I mean? This is a very rewarding job. Like, we're placing families in homes. And I think the more, again, as far as, I think collaboration is key. And I want as many people on my team. I think there's, you know, collective minds are better than one. So I want to help other women who don't have the means or are struggling financially and can't provide, so that I'm going to fit that bill for them so that they can come and join. And then while they're in school, you know, I'm allowing her to come on listing appointments with me and come on staging consults with me. So she gets to actually see the business itself firsthand. She's getting on-the-job training while getting the education. So when she comes out, she's going to be like a very well-rounded agent. She's going to be able to hit the ground running. And that is worth its weight in gold for me. You know what I mean? Like, she's on my team and she can hit the ground running. So I would love to roll this out to as many women as possible, but, you know, one day at a time.
I love it. I think you're doing an amazing job.
Fingers crossed, you know what I mean? Like, there's no timeline for success. I'm not putting any pressure on myself. I don't quit. I think that's one of my strengths, is I'm not afraid to fail. Failure to me is quitting. Failure is giving up, and I'm not a quitter. I'm here for the long haul. I don't know how long it's going to take, but you're going to be reading about me one day.
Thank you so much, Kim. This was a wonderful conversation.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, so did I. This is great. And thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next time on another episode of At the Heart of Business.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
happens to you?